You might think the 1990s were all about flashy sports cars, but that's not the whole story. Some of the most powerful cars from that time looked completely normal, like regular sedans or wagons. In this video, we'll show you 10 rare and unusual sleeper cars from the 90s that most people don't know about. They may look boring, but they were fast and fun to drive. Let's take a closer look. Let the countdown begin. At first glance, the Chevy Lumina Z34 looked like your average 90s family car. Plain, soft-edged, and built for grocery runs. But pop the hood, and you'd find one of the most surprising performance packages GM ever hid in plain sight. Powered by a 3.4-liter DOHC V6 engine, LQ1, the Z34 produced 210 horsepower and 215 pound-foot of torque. Impressive for a front-wheel drive sedan in its class. Mated to a 5-speed get-drag manual transmission, it could sprint from 0 to 60 in about 7.1 seconds, rivaling more expensive imports and domestic muscle of the era. What made the Z34 insanely rare? Only around 40,000 to 45,000 Z34 units were produced between 1991 and 1994, with just a few thousand made each year. Add to that a complex engine layout that made maintenance difficult. Many didn't survive. And why was it one of the weirdest sleepers? It had sport-tuned suspension, dual exhaust, 4-wheel disc brakes, and even a limited slip differential, all hidden under a body that screamed rental car. Chevy never marketed it seriously, and most buyers never knew what it was capable of. Blink and you'd miss it. The Impulse RS looked like a mid-3-door runabout, yet its spec sheet reads like a WRC entry form. Under the hood sits Isuzu's 4xe1 WT 1.6-liter DOHC Turbo 4, factory rated at 160 horsepower and 150 pound-foot, and fed through a close ratio 5-speed manual and a full-time all-wheel drive system with vicious center and rear differentials. Lotus reworked the springs, dampers, and anti-roll bars, giving the RS razor-sharp turn-in and remarkable grip for a car weighing barely 2,750 pounds. 0 to 60 miles per hour takes a shade over 7 seconds, quicker than the contemporary Civic Si, and almost level with the Eclipse GSX. So why don't you see them? Isuzu built just 6 to 800 US spec RS models for '91, then pulled the plug after 1 year as the brand retreated from the performance market. Car and Driver calls it one of just 600 all-wheel drive impulse turbos, while Motor Trend likewise tags the RS as one of the rarest sports cars to come out of Japan, with production under 1,000 units. Add Isuzu's weak dealer network and near zero marketing, and the RS slipped straight into obscurity. Blink and you'll miss it. The first-gen MX-6 looks like a tidy commuter, yet its GT badge unlocks hardware Mazda fans still rave about. Up front sits the F2T 2.2-liter 12-valve Turbo 4, factory rated at 145 horsepower, and a stout 190 pound-foot of torque, more twist than many period V6s. A close ratio 5-speed manual feeds the front wheels, while 4-wheel steering, 4WS, and 4-wheel discs sharpen responses far beyond the coupe's tidy looks. 0 to 60 takes roughly 7.5 seconds, quick enough to hassle a contemporaneous Nissan 240SX. So why isn't this turbo Mazda a parking lot celebrity? First, the GT Turbo's production run was short, just 3 model years before the sleeker non-turbo second-gen arrived, leaving far fewer cars on the road than the headline-grabbing RX-7 and Miata. Second, its subdued styling and front drive layout kept purists away, while daily driver duty and the F2T's heat-soaked tendencies sent many to the crusher. Combine low surviving numbers, unique 4WS hardware that scares off DIY mechanics, and virtually no aftermarket scene, and you have an insanely rare, genuinely weird sleeper. a front-drive 90s coupe that out-torqued bigger engines, steered from both ends, yet blended in like any other Mazda 626. (1993) Pontiac Grand Prix GTP looked like every other family car from the early 90s. Wide, plastic heavy, and nothing to get excited about. But looks were deceiving. Under the hood was a 3.4-liter DOHC V6 LQ1, developed by GM's then new performance group, pushing out 210 horsepower and 215 pound-foot of torque. Paired with a 5-speed manual or optional 4-speed auto, the GTP could do 0 to 60 in around 7.5 seconds, faster than many V6 Mustangs of the era. Just over 3,000 units were built in 1993 with the high-output DOHC engine, making it one of the least remembered performance sedans from GM. While the car featured a sport-tuned suspension, 4-wheel disc brakes, and sleek bodywork, it was plagued by reliability issues. The 3.4-liter twin dual-cam V6 was powerful, but complex, with frequent timing belt and head gasket failures. Combined with a cramped engine bay and high maintenance costs, many owners gave up early. Pontiac never gave it the marketing push it needed, instead focusing on the Firebird and Grand Am GT. Volvo and performance didn't usually go together in the 90s, unless you knew about the 850R. On the outside, the 850R Wagon looked like a safe, boxy family car. But under the hood was anything but boring. It packed a 2.3-liter turbocharged inline-5 engine, pushing out 240 to 250 horsepower and 258 pound-foot of torque, depending on the market. Paired with a 5-speed manual transmission, rare, or a 4-speed automatic, the A50R could sprint from 0 to 60 miles per hour in 6.5 to 7 seconds. Shocking unsuspecting sports car drivers. Volvo built only about 6,900 850R wagons worldwide, with far fewer manual versions making it to the US. It featured performance tuning from Volvo's racing division, including a lower and stiffer suspension, upgraded brakes, 17-inch Titan wheels, and a more aggressive ECU map. Why was it one of the weirdest sleepers? Because it didn't look fast. The signature brick-like design, complete with rear-facing third-row seat and roof rails, made it the ultimate dad car. Yet it shared DNA with Volvo's British Touring Car Championship BTCC race cars. Before the Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution took over the spotlight, there was the Galant VR4, a full-size sedan that quietly delivered rally-bred performance in a grown-up wrapper. By '95, the Galant VR4 had evolved into a serious machine. It featured the legendary 4G63T 2.0-liter turbocharged inline-4, producing 237 horsepower and 220 pound-foot of torque, the same engine used in early Evo models. Mated to a 5-speed manual transmission and Mitsubishi's full-time all-wheel drive system with a center viscous coupling, the VR4 delivered superb grip and traction in all conditions. Some models even featured 4-wheel steering, 4WS, enhancing cornering agility, an advanced feature rare for the time. So why is it insanely rare? Only around 5,000 units were imported to the US between 1992 and 1996. Most people didn't even know it existed. Mitsubishi gave all the attention to the Lancer Evolution in overseas markets, while the Galant VR4 quietly faded from view. What makes it one of the weirdest sleepers is how completely it flew under the radar. No wings, no loud exhaust, just a mild-mannered sedan that could smoke rivals in the snow, rain, or dry. In the late 90s, Ford's Special Vehicle Team, SVT, quietly turned the humble Contour into a true sports sedan. The result was the Ford Contour SVT, a car so underrated, even Ford fans often forget it existed. Based on the European Ford Mondeo, the Contour SVT was engineered with sharp handling, precise steering, and a rev-happy engine that made it genuinely fun to drive. Under the hood sat a 2.5-liter Duratec V6, hand-tuned by SVT to produce 195 horsepower in 1998 and 200 horsepower in later 99-2000 models. It came only with a 5-speed manual transmission, sport-tuned suspension, upgraded brakes, and a tighter steering rack. With a 0 to 60 mph time of about 7.1 seconds, it kept up with many premium European sedans at half the price. Ford built only about 11,445 units between 98 and 2000. It was never heavily marketed, and its styling was nearly identical to the base Contour, so few drivers even noticed it. At a time when Dodge was better known for minivans than performance cars, the 91 Spirit RT quickly became a legend, at least on paper. It looked like a basic boxy four-door commuter, but hiding under that modest sheet metal was a serious surprise, a 2.2-liter turbocharged inline-4, co-developed with Lotus, producing 224 horsepower and 217 pound-foot of torque. This powertrain, paired with a heavy-duty 5-speed manual transmission, launched the front-wheel drive Spirit RT from 0 to 60 in just 5.8 seconds. That made it the quickest production sedan sold in the US at the time, beating the BMW M5 E34, Nissan 300ZX Turbo, and even some Corvettes in a straight line. Despite its incredible performance, the Spirit RT suffered from a complete lack of visual flair. Aside from a small RT badge, it was nearly indistinguishable from the base model. Dodge built just 1,208 Spirit RTs for the US market in '91, and only 191 more in '92, making it incredibly rare today. If you spotted a 1994 Buick Roadmaster estate wagon in a parking lot, you'd probably assume it belonged to someone's grandfather. With fake wood paneling, a long roof line, and a third-row seat facing backward, it looked like the ultimate road trip cruiser, not a performance machine. But that assumption would have been dead wrong. Under the hood was a surprise, the 5.7-liter LT1 V8. The same engine found in the C4 Corvette and the Chevy Impala SS. It made 260 horsepower and a massive 330 pound-foot of torque, sending power to the rear wheels through a 4-speed automatic transmission. Despite weighing nearly 4,700 pounds, it could hit 60 miles per hour in under 7 seconds and chirp the tires, all while carrying your family and a full Costco haul. It was weird, fast, and practical, yet totally ignored by enthusiasts at the time. Muscle car fans didn't take it seriously, and wagon buyers didn't care about horsepower. Buick only built a few thousand each year before retiring the model in 1996. These 10 rare and weird sleeper cars from the 90s prove that performance doesn't always wear a flashy badge or wild body kit. Which one surprised you the most, or is your favorite? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this blast from the past, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more underrated legends from automotive history.